All right, thank you for joining us tonight for the GPAC postgame press conference. We have head coach Tim Bergstraser and student-athlete Lorenzo McGhee from Minnesota State University Moorhead. The Dragons advanced to the championship game in the 2023 NSIC men's basketball tournament after defeating Bemidji State in tonight's semifinal game. We'll start off with an opening statement from head coach Tim Bergstraser and then open it up to any questions. Coach?
Well, that was a little March Madness early for us. Credit to this young man hitting that tough shot at the end. Bemidji's a phenomenal basketball team, and we knew that coming into it. We knew it was going to be a game. We got up, 10 or 12 points, whatever it might have been. And we knew they were going to keep coming right at us. They're a type of team that's very dangerous, and they could string a lot of threes together. We let a couple guys get loose for those threes, and at that point, I thought we could have handled the game, managing it a little bit better. But again, that's a good basketball team, and they're just going to do that to you, no matter if you manage it well or not. So I give them a lot of credit. And then at the end of the game, we just tried to handle some situations, and fortunately, they missed a free throw. And then Lorenzo he's a really good basketball player, and he makes a tough play. And I'm glad I didn't call a timeout because there's 2 seconds left, and I was very close to screaming timeout. I'm glad we just let him go because it's ironic because it's the exact same scenario at Bemidji, down one, last-second shot. So for it to come on our end at this point of the year, it's pretty fun. But I give so much credit. I told Bosch, he's done such a great job this year, coaching those guys up with what he has. And they play so hard, and they hit a lot of tough shots. So there's a lot of pride from that program.
Coach, what were you saying to kind of weather the storm as they were making that run? Like you said, you were up about 10 or 12 points, and it just seemed like there was no quit in that team. They just kept coming. And what was the message to the guys to kind of weather that storm a little bit?
It probably sounded like a broken record, but I just kept saying, hey, they're coming. And we knew that they're going to keep coming, and they're a type of team to do that. And we've had a very similar conversations throughout the year of just, hey, we got to have poise, and we just got to handle these runs. On how are we going to respond to these runs. And, it was a lot of back and forth, and a lot of times I'll just tell the guys, guys need to step up and just make plays. Sometimes I can't get out there and do much. I can scream and yell at them, but, at some point we got to put a lot of trust in these guys as we have and just say, hey, it's time to make some winning plays.
Coach, when one of your top guys, Meninga, when he struggles from the field the way he did tonight a little bit, what did you see from the other guys that really encouraged you, and how did other guys really step up when he couldn't really get his shot to fall?
Well, we're going to keep telling Jacob to let him fly, and I think everybody knows that too. But if it ain't clicking for him, we got a well-balanced scoring team. And I got to give a shout-out to big man Dane Zimmer. I don't think he gets enough praise in this program, and he's the type of guy that really don't care. He's a very low-key guy, and he's pretty quiet, and we love it. He just shows up, and he just works his tail off. He had 12 and 15. He was an animal for us last night, too, in a very physical game. So he's a very big X factor in this team. And then outside of him, we just had multiple guys step up. Obviously, Lorenzo did a great job. Gavin might say that he had an average game, but it might just be like a big-time bucket near the end of a game, like that tough and one that he had at the end. That's a winning basketball play. He might have had an average game in his mind, but him stepping up to make that tough play and hit the free throw, that just shows the type of team that we got.
Lorenzo, what's going through your mind in those final minutes? Aside from even before that last shot, just that last minute down the stretch, it was back and forth. You guys were kind of just going, exchanging blows. They hit a big shot. You guys answer with a big shot. What's going through your mind in those last final moments leading up to that final shot?
Basically it's not over until it's over. You know what I'm saying? We just trying to win the game. As long as it's time on the clock and it's a close game, we got a chance to win the game. So we were just trying to play the game all the way through. I give credit to that team. They're a very hard-working team. They got great players. But at the end of the game, I'm just trying to win the game. We're trying to win. Our whole goal been to win the championship since game one, and that's what we're trying to do. So.
Your shot isn't falling like it was, 0 for 2 from 3. What do you tell yourself, and what were your teammates saying to you to encourage you to shoot that outside shot? Obviously, you shoot it confidently, so it's a shot that you're very capable of making. When it's not falling for you like that, how do you keep that confidence to keep shooting from the outside, which eventually leads to you making, ultimately the game winner tonight?
I say confidence just come from reps in the gym. I just get in the gym, so there's no reason for me to start shooting if I get in the gym. And Coach Tim, he trusts me a lot. been trusting me ever since, he recruited me, telling me I could be an impact player for this team. And he not ever going to tell me to stop shooting, so I'm not going to stop shooting.
He's not wrong.
Coach, here we are, again on this same floor. A little bit of a familiar feeling, I'm sure, for you, to be, back here with a chance to win a championship tomorrow. A quick turnaround again, kind of like we talked about last night. So, just tell me about some of the emotions that go through your head. Obviously, this is about as emotional of a win as it gets. So, how do you, like I kind of asked you before, how do you enjoy it while you can, but at the same time, got that quick turnaround in arguably the biggest game of the year?
Yeah, and we're obviously going to enjoy it, and we always tell them to do so. Even just there's a lot of dull period after the game was over, and then I'd said everybody get their butts in the locker room so we could have some fun. Because regardless if we thought we played poorly or not, we got to enjoy it. Because wins don't always come that easy, and when it's in that type of fashion, we got to have some fun with it. And then now this team is very mature to understand we got big things to accomplish tomorrow. It's a tough task versus a very good basketball team. They handled us very well at our own place, but I don't think I need to give these guys any fancy motivational speech at this point. They're going to be ready to compete, and they're usually ready to compete against anybody at this point. Whether we play good or not, I really do trust these guys that they're going to show up and they're just do what they can to win a basketball game. But we're not focused. Obviously, we want to win a championship, but we got to focus on resting tonight. We need a very good scout and preparation, and that's going to start our day, and we'll see where it leads.
Lorenzo, obviously tomorrow those guys are going to have a little bit of revenge on their minds, a little bit of extra motivation given last year and now the way that they've been able to reach the final. What's your guys and the rest of your teammates' approach, knowing that there's going to be a target on your back? I'm sure there's probably been one all year, but especially tomorrow, given the opponent and things like that. How does it feel going into that matchup and what I'm sure is going to be a heavily contested game?
Well, it's history to be made. Last year we made history, and if we do it again, that's gonna be history. So we just been thinking about us. They're a great team, but we can't really too much worry about them too much. We got to worry about ourselves. That's how we've been successful this year. But at the end of the day, they're a great team for sure. But it's a championship game. You know what I'm saying? We come into play, they come into play, and we're gonna see who win.
SC top 10 that shot?
Say it again.
SC top 10 that shot?
Yeah.
Something like that, for real.
Might be up there.
Something like that, for real.
I don't know how you don't, but that was fun. That was March Madness early for you.
For sure.
Thank God I didn't call that timeout because we almost did.
That's all I got.
That's all the questions. Coach Lorenzo, thank you for your time on the GPAC post-game interviews, and good luck on the championship game tomorrow.
Appreciate you guys, for sure.